Hi. So I read Atomic Habits by James Clear a little over a month ago. This book has helped me read more, meditate more consistently, and try to be more active. And I wanted to share some of the changes that it's been able to help me make in my life. One of the first things that the book goes over with you is that our habits are tied to our identity and that everything we do is a vote for who we want to become. For example, every time you work out, you are becoming an athlete. And you're also becoming someone who prioritizes their physical health. And that really stuck with me. I personally really like to play video games and I enjoy them a lot, but every time that I play them, I am becoming a gamer or I am a gamer. And that's not bad or anything. I'm not trying to stop being a gamer, but I know that if I play them too much, I won't have time for the other things that I would like to become. Being a gamer, I think, sometimes means that I may prioritize, maybe a more sedentary lifestyle when I am trying to be a little bit more active, I guess. The book makes an example of if you paint one picture, you can't really say that you're a painter, but if you paint 100 pictures, then you can because now you have all this evidence. And the book really made me look at the things that I do and how I spend my time and if I'm okay with being those things. And most of the time I was, and then there's some times where maybe I wasn't, I think overall, I want to be somebody who practices meditation. I want to be somebody who meditates more, somebody who's more active and maybe eats a little bit cleaner. I want to be, creative. I want to make art. In terms of things I don't want to be, I don't want to be a procrastinator. I don't want to be a perfectionist. I don't want to be a people pleaser. The book doesn't really talk about those type of things that much, but I think it at least helps me be aware of those parts of my identity so that at least I can try to maybe do something about those things. And I think awareness sometimes is half the battle. The book at one point mentions that regardless of somebody's genetics, the thing that really determines whether or not they could be an Olympic athlete is whether or not they're willing to come in and do the boring stuff. The book talks about, I think, the example of an Olympic weightlifter. Are they willing to go to the gym every day and do the same boring lift over and over again? And I think this applies to a couple of different areas of my life. I've been on and off with working out for a while now, for years at this point. I just cannot stay consistent with it. I also can just kind of see this with my YouTube journey. I've been doing this for 3 years now, and I don't think I've stayed consistent for more than 3 months at a time or 4 months at a time if I'm generous. The book also talks about reducing friction in the habits that we want to adopt. If you look at my older videos, I used to do these cinematic vlogs. They were very highly produced. I was basically doing what a small crew should be doing, but by myself, and it was unsustainable and it just took a lot out of me to do those videos and I wasn't able to keep up with it, But in this more relaxed style that I'm trying to do now where I can talk to the camera and I can just put some B-roll in here and there, I feel like I am reducing some of that friction for myself and I hope that I can make videos faster and a lot more consistently in this new way. And pertaining to my workouts, what I do is the day before I will set out my mat and I will set out my weights and kind of move things around so I have space so that I don't have to do it the next day. And I just think that if I can make it easier for myself, then I'm more likely to do that thing, For my videos too, I've been able to plan some of them ahead of time. I want to keep showing up. I enjoy this. I like making videos. And I think a lot of the time it really boils down to my habits. If I want to be a YouTuber, I'm going to have to make some YouTube videos. There's really no way around it. I started habit tracking while reading this book. At first, the book wants you to track habits based on whether they are positive, negative, or neutral. A positive habit could be making your bed or making a cup of coffee for yourself in the morning. A negative one for me was checking my phone throughout the day or maybe watching a little bit too much YouTube on my iPad or something like that. And neutral things are basically like in the morning when you use the restroom or when you, turn off your alarm. So I tracked my habits that way for a couple of days in a little notebook. I found that the majority of the habits I had were either positive or neutral, but I had some negatives here and there. And then I started tracking my habits in a different way. And I made a video about that. I'll put it in the iCard as well as the description of this video if you're interested. For certain habits, it's kind of hard to measure them in a way that's visible or tactile. If I read 5 books, I can later see those 5 books in a stack and like feel good about it. But for things like meditating or walking, you can't really do that with those things. So I think tracking my habits is beneficial for me to be able to see those things, to stay consistent with them, and kind of just hold myself accountable. I don't want to say this book has like changed my life or anything because it's only been a month. Like I really haven't done much, you know? Let's be honest. I think with self-help books, it comes down to if you read them at the right time or if you can take what you can from them and kind of like leave the rest, you know? For me, I think I read this book at the right time. And I feel like if I can keep up with some of the things I've learned from the book, maybe I am on my way to living the life that I want to live. I think the book, more than anything, has given me a little bit more of a sense of agency and maybe some hope in my life. I think with all the things going on in the world right now, there's not a lot of things I have control over, but one of the things I do have is myself, you know. I can have control over myself, and I want to be better, and I want to take better care of myself, and one of those ways is with, you know, better habits. If you've read this book already, or if you haven't and you're just kind of watching this video out of curiosity, I feel like we probably want similar things for ourselves, and I hope that we can find that motivation with each other, you know. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the video. Let me know what you think about Atomic Habits and if it was helpful for you. In the meantime, please take care of yourself. I'll see you next time.